Is your lack living your life? And the law of attraction is a lie. Let's throw this out there. The law of attraction is a complete lie. Not because it doesn't work, but because the way it was presented. Abundance does not make you a better being. A banking account does not make you a better being. A Mercedes-Benz will not make you happy. Happiness is not something you will ever achieve as a state of life. The fact that you've been sold that keeps you suppressed and weak. Driving completely towards a place where you believe that living in total abundance is about being blissful 100% of the time is a seductive tool to entrap you into a different subservience. Mostly religion, politics, or spirituality. It hurts to hear that. It hurts to say that. We've all been subjected to it and probably subjected others to it indirectly. So the idea is like in the movie. We get riled up, but when we walk out, we close the door, we have the memories, and we move forward. We wait for the next chapter. We have to have the ability to be able to go beyond our ex or our abuse living our life for us. You can't rely on the law of attraction as your success. You cannot rely on sage to clear your space. You cannot depend on a download to tell you what to do. You cannot depend on a spiritual practitioner to tell you the truth. If something resonates, that's real good. But there should always be something that never resonates as well, because this is your path, right? Have the courage to question. Have the courage to raise the questions within yourself and say, yeah, God, man, I really love that one part of it. Like, I don't like the whole movie. There's parts of movies where I'm like, wow, if they had done it differently on that one, that would have been great. The flow of that would have just been so good. And that's okay. You see, because just like empathy has been dissuaded and empathy has been targeted as, oh, my heart, I feel you so much, and it's been limited to what we perceive as a feminine experience, empathy is not feminine. Empathy is a balanced feminine masculine. That's why men don't know what empathy is. They have it and they don't realize it because we've tied traits to it that suppress empathy. You see, empathy is not something that is this mamby-pamby experience that just supports you when you're sad. Empathy is the ability to climb Mount Everest. Empathy is the ability to see into the eyes of your enemy and to forgive them. Empathy is what allows you to turn the other cheek. You ever heard that before? Forgiveness doesn't allow you to turn the other cheek. Empathy does. So I think that we have to have critical thinking in consciousness. We can't just create a world of consciousness from what we conjure up. We have tools. We have traits that are not just, they're mechanical. They're multidimensional. And the bridge of the mechanical and the multidimensional seems magical. And then if I can convince you that you don't have something and you have to search for something and I only have the map, I've got you. We're going into the ability to become one. For instance, when you're looking for love, you become love. Doesn't mean you're going to find love. It means that you live in love. Living in love, becoming love, doesn't mean you're not going to get hurt. Don't lie to yourself. Don't let anybody else lie to you. You see, because love isn't always what you're longing for. Sometimes love, sometimes you will loathe love. Sometimes love will push every button. Sometimes love will push you to the brink where you want to just explode. And if you don't ever feel that, then you don't know love. You know an illusion of love. You know the sunny dream that's been sold to you by some spiritual person to take your money. Right? Let us gather all information. Let us understand the matrix. Let us begin to move in a mechanical and multidimensional way with the tools that have been grafted into us, with the instinct and the intuition to tap into imagination that is yours. You can meditate, you are empathic, and you have the greatest skill of observation. You don't realize it. Sit down next time and binge on Netflix and think about those things. Think about this. This is one of the much more controversial messages I've probably ever given, but I would say it's one of the most beneficial messages that I've ever given. Masculinity is supposed to be rough, raw. It's supposed to be the growl of the bear. It's also the goodness that holds open the door. It is the greatness that goes before and opens the way. Femininity is the key to understanding the softness of the emotions that we're allowed to experience. Femininity was never supposed to be this progressive, submersive experience that decides on whether life lives or dies. No human being should decide life. We should only live it. We have a gift. If any of us are parts of killing people or taking lives in any dimension, in any aspect, no wonder that other entities from other worlds would be very hesitant to help us. We're killing our own race, whether it's with conscious choices, political moves, manufactured products, poison in our foods and waters. You see, when we want to blame, we blame, oh, GMO, oh, Dow Chemical. Blame yourself. Why? Because we live in the world. And to be honest, there's no one to blame. If we take all of our energy and we use it to blame people and to fight against something rather than standing for something and moving towards the solution, we're walking backwards. We are literally trying to go forwards. We're driving our car and we're looking in the rear view. And I think that these are because we've really limited the potential of emotion, and we've isolated different emotions according to masculine and feminine. We've created different enemies of emotion according to masculine and feminine. Feminine doesn't want to take ownership for the political system and what's going on right now. Right? That's why they're like, oh, look, this is a patriarchy. Who the fuck had all the men? Where did the men come from? We can keep telling ourselves lies, that's fine. As long as we keep telling ourselves lies, we're never going to loose ourselves from the treadmill that we're on continually. It's not the patriarchy. You're just looking for an excuse. It's the lack of engagement we have for being much more proactive and integrative. It's our inability to recognize our brothers and sisters of the world as ourself. That's our problem. Our problem isn't GMOs. Our problem isn't whether it's a patriarch or matriarch. Our problem isn't activating our vagina. I mean, can you imagine for a minute if you see me at a retreat and I'm like, I'm going to activate my penis now. Whoa! People would think I was a fucking perv. But yet it's okay to, and I'm not body shaming anybody. I'm just saying we're perpetuating, even in spirituality, an imbalance. And why is that? Because ultimately, subconsciously, we still operate out of scarcity and we're all trying to survive. And our subconscious triggers our ego, and our ego, whether we're awakening or not, jumps back into the dream and uses the skills that would actually make us advance on this earth for our own preservation. And our own potential becomes our preservation. And anyone that encounters us is actually indoctrinated into this experience, this controlled by a lack of scarcity and survival, even though we're preaching that it's an abundance message. Because if it's a message of abundance, everybody should be benefiting on the same level, not just the person who's teaching me. I mean, I do readings every Thursday night, and I give great information. And the first thing I tell people, this is not your future. This is the energy around you. Do something about it. Let's change it. Let's observe it. This is the movie. You're in chapter 1. Chapter 2 is up to you. Secondly, I'm charging $20 for the same thing that people are charging $300 for. Sure, I would love to charge $300 for it, but then I would feel like shit. Oh, well, you feel like shit because you're not tapped into your godlike abilities. You haven't activated your body parts. You haven't tapped into your god or goddess. Bullshit. I know that the law of attraction wasn't designed to lead my way to a fucking beach house. The law of attraction wasn't designed so I become rich. The law of attraction was designed so I liberate the world around me through the act in the honor of abundance. It's so that when scarcity is around me, I see it and recognize it, and I fall service to the scarcity with my idea of this is going to change and shift. And then it doesn't change and shift for the world around me unless I serve the world. Some people need to really go spend some time with Hanuman, right? Or maybe some people need to really actually have a relationship with Jesus. Not the Christian Jesus, but the Yeshua ben Yosef Jesus. Go sit down in the sand with the man that wore sandals that were worn out. Go sit with the carpenter that had calluses on his hands that carried the world. Did he have gold-lined pockets? Was he valeting? I'm not saying that you can't have nice things. But if it costs other people to have the nice things, do it with an air of honor. Do it with the openness of sharing. Anybody that has $2 million in the bank, that's okay. I mean, fine. But once you get over 2 million, you don't need it. And imagine for a second, if you helped empower the whole world and you uplifted people that were poor, you would feel so connected to life. Not just when you pull up and you get that VIP space at the valet, that lasts for a second. When you're in service, that lasts a lifetime. It also gives you clarity when you cross over. You see, part of this life is to build the pathway to crossing. Don't forget, my friends, you're dying. Let's get real. You're not going to elude death, no matter what you do. Even if a UFO lands on the earth, you're still going to die someday. Prepare for it. Plan for it.